Hey everyone, it's Megan with ClubRubyDesigners.com. Thank you so much for joining me today for another video tutorial. Today I'm going to be making a card, very simple. We're going to be following some of the same kind of design elements that we did for the last scrapbook layout that we did, the Best Friends layout. So if you didn't get to watch that video, you can go back and take a look at that. This is some gray cardstock that I had left over in the kit. It's 12 inches by, it actually happens to be 4 1/4. I didn't plan it that way, it just happens to be that way. So we're going to use that, and I'm actually going to make a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 inch card. So I'm going to cut this down to be 8 1/2 inches so that when I fold it in half, it'll still fit in an A2 size envelope. It will have extra space, but it will fit. And we're going to use that as our card base. So we're doing a square card today, just a little bit different. This is thicker, so you're going to want to use a bone folder to get a good tight crease. I have those strips of paper that are left over. These are the scraps from that layout, from ripping and shredding that. So we're going to rip and shred some more, and this time I am going to do a lot more inking of the full thing because this is a smaller card. So we're going to do that. I'm going to use a strip of this as kind of my anchoring base, this little peach paper that's left. So I'm going to cut that down to be a square 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. Right, so I'm going to glue down, ATG down the front. Because this is a card and isn't going in a protective cover of an album, I'm going to use a little bit more adhesive than the way we did the scrapbook layout. Kind of center that in the card. And before I get too far in, I already know I want the bottom corners rounded. I'm going to do the 1/2 inch setting on the bottom 2 corners. Just like that. Okay. I'm also going to grab my white gel pen and I'm going to do stitching all around the outer edge. I love the way the white gel pen pops on this gray cardstock. It just looks awesome. I love it. And I'm kind of crossing just like that. And now we're going to do a little bit more ripping. Of the edges, and I'm going to ink these really, really well. I'm going to do my, you can almost just set it on the desk, and that way you're sure you get an even coverage of ink on all corners and sides. And swipe the ends just lightly for a little bit extra. Ripping both sides. Inking those edges. And we're just sort of placing these on here. This one is actually a lot thicker than I really want it to be, this particular polka dot piece. So I'm going to grab my paper trimmer and I'm actually going to just trim it out a little bit. Even on an angle. Re-ink my edge. And then this is going to go right back over here. Okay. We'll glue these down with ATG. Set those aside. I'm going to tie some of the white ribbon that was in the kit around the bottom of the card, and I'm going to do this a couple times around. I'm actually going to loop it through, let's see, probably 3 times. Let's take a look at what we like once I see it on here. Yeah, 3 times is good. Making sure there's no unwanted bumps or crosses in it. I'm just going to do a simple knot. Pretty tight. I am going to use these extra strands to tie other little knots right on the ribbon. Just looks like a bunch of ties and different things on here. Now you can leave it really, really simple just like that, but the one thing that I was going to do with this card is dress it up with a flower, and I was going to take a couple of these flowers from the kit, and I have the one pearl brad here, and I was going to really layer this up and bend it up so that it's a beautiful, really dimensional kind of flower. So what you're going to do is really crinkle in the center and layer this up right on top of each other. So literally just bending in these leaves, folding them into each other, folding in the center. You can put some ink on if you want a real distressed look. And I'm actually going to, for this, since there are so many layers, I'm going to do one quick brad punch with it. Since I'm doing all of these layers, I'm going to grab my new brad setter. This is from We Are Memory Keepers. So nice. Easy to use. Literally, you just punch right on through. All my layers really quickly. You push your brad through like that, and then all you have to do is use this little end here. It separates and you just rock back and forth and your brad is open. You didn't have to do a little bit of Chinese nail torture by opening up your brad or getting out what you needed from it. It just sets right into place. So now we're just going to fold this back up around, curl it in, bend this flower the way we want it to look. Now this is going to be really a lot of dimension for something so small like a card, and to stick it inside an envelope it's going to be a little bit difficult, but you can do it. Or you just hand the card to the person and make it a little bit more special that way. But that way the flower is like opening up instead of it just being a flat thrown on there paper flower. And I'm going to use some pop dots. And there you have our very simple card that fits along with the theme of the scrapbook layout that we did. You could stamp your little hi or one of the tiny little faith, love, hope, one of those sentiments that came in this kit, which I might go back and do in a little bit, but we're going to leave it be for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that it inspired you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.